Hello and welcome to Back to the Tactics Board, vlog number 2. In today's vlog I'll be asking the question, where have all the wingers gone? To put this topic in context, during the World Cup in Russia in 2018, one of the games was Argentina against Iceland, and it summed up what I've seen in a lot of games with the wide players. The tendency to always want to come in and turn inside against your player when you're on the ball and off the ball to come into these areas all the time. One of the things, however, it can be a problem from an attacking point of view is you're not getting on the blind side of the back four. You've got players coming in here to receive it, so he's in eye line, ball and man in eye line here. Now we have got one option, which was the fullbacks, but you tend to feel there in that situation we have got this where we can move across and make that not too difficult a threat, depending on the quality of the pass to the fullback and how quick the fullback is. You just feel like if you had someone in a more advanced position playing right off the back line there, then this means that the fullback is very difficult to watch the man here and the ball. It might be that he does this and this stretches a gap here. It might be no, we stay compact, but then this ball, all of a sudden you're in one-on-one in this situation. Let them start like more of a 4-3-3. Pull the team apart and then start to come into these areas a little often, or just mix it up a little bit more. In one of the early vlogs I mentioned this idea of zone 14, which is this area here in front of the 18-yard box, where apparently statistically the vast majority of goals are created from and scored from. If you get the ball into here, things happen, goals are created. That was the stat that people follow and that people adjust their game plans for. So what we tend to see is now more and more players crowding this area. You've got less width here to play the ball in behind it, so the defence can play more narrow. So you've actually added a variable. You've said, oh, zone 14 creates goals, we'll put loads of players in there. But that wasn't what created all the goals in the first place. It was a different variable. So when you try and adapt to what the stats say, you might then mess up those stats and then the goals are not mainly coming from this area. So a coaching scenario for you then as a grassroots coach is this: you have at 8, 10 and 9, you have skillful players. They are very technically gifted, their movement off the ball is excellent, they often create goal scoring opportunities. But you have wide players that want to keep coming into this area as well, and you're finding that they run out of space in there. And maybe it is that your fullbacks as well haven't got the same pace, ability to beat a player in one-on-one, maybe not even the same crossing ability as your wide players do. If you're a winger and you run down the outside of the defender, okay? Once that happens, that movement is going to trigger the whole back line, it should do anyway, to drop in to here. So you're affecting all four of that defence, plus the goalkeeper with his movement as well towards the front. If we turn inside, the back line may shivvy across, but it won't necessarily drop. So you've not affected the movement of that back foot as much. The upside can be, there's now space for a player to run into for a clever little pass. That's a hard pass to find though. Off the ball, we're asking the question if the wide player can stay wide for longer. So in this scenario here, by the players being wide, they're more likely to increase the gap between centre back and full back of the opponent. And as the ball goes back and back across and gets switched the other way, they again get stretched till eventually that red back line there just opens up. Those gaps can now be exploited from zone 14. As the ball comes back into this area, the space is there now for little through balls into these spaces. I watched an interview with Thierry Henry and he was talking about his time with Barcelona, and he said that when the ball came wide into the fullback, he was expected to always make a run, to stay wide and make these kind of runs in behind, drag their fullback away from this space. And the idea then would be that Iniesta would get on the ball in these areas. He said a lot of the times, I think he said 8 out of 10 times, he'd do this run and not receive the ball. He was just doing that run to make space for someone else to get into this area here. So this is the tricky thing, perhaps convincing wingers that a lot of their movement may be done for others to get on the ball in dangerous areas. You know, Guardiola with Man City now quite likes his fullbacks to come into this area, instead of staying out wide with the winger to come into this area. It gives you those extra numbers for outnumbering in this area now, but it doesn't block the space in zone 14. So if you want to call this area, instead of zone 14, you want to call it the hole. One of the stats that I've read on that is it doesn't come from the ball coming from zone 14 to going wide. That's not what necessarily creates all the goals. It's about the ball coming to this area, and it's either a pass forwards into the box from here, or to do with someone being fouled and a set piece then leading to a goal from the free kick. What I'd like to see with it though is perhaps a bit more of a jump between the two, at times staying wide to stretch and then moving in less predictable moments. The ball's on this side with the right winger. There is a time for that left winger now on the far side to get in on the blind side of the opponent, the opposition defender. So the ball could be coming into here and now the run might start and then the cross comes in. You know, these kind of movements are going to be important, but if these movements are all the time and always coming in here, when the ball's here you're already in this position, this guy can see you now and it's more predictable, and if that run is made it can be tracked. And just delay that movement inwards, make it less predictable, keep those defenders guessing which side you can be going down. So there you have it, the wingers have all gone to a party in zone 14. The question is it getting too crowded in there?